To be a knight, a noble warrior, a man of honor, fighting for the king for gold, glory, or love.
Whoa, wait a minute. Ain't you all knights?
Well, of course we are.
All of it sounds pretty sweet to me. But was it true? Was knighthood really so prestigious and respected? Or did the daily noises or heavy armor, weapons and horses make the job less appealing than movies and shows made us believe? It's history versus Hollywood time. Okay, so you wanna be a knight? Well, get in a queue, because it's not as easy as movies portray. It's not just jousting tournaments with flags and deafening trumpets. First, you need to hit the training grounds. And training starts early. As early as 7. You begin as page, it's like an intern, to learn manners, basic literacy, horse riding and basic combat.
What we find from records is that young men at the age of 7 would be sent to be educated by a knight. He would work in their household as a page.
Then, at 14, if you do the job well, you can move to a squire, which was a sort of medieval PA to a knight, carrying the gear, cleaning it, but also more intense training.
When I started here, I started just as a squire. It was a part-time job, and I saw how everything that the knights did, and riding horses and fighting. And
if you made it, then you could be knighted by 21.
Knighthood would probably have been given to you by the lord of your manor or by the monarch at the age of roughly 20-21.
Overall, the training occurred at the castle yard in a medieval CrossFit gym with targets, dummies and dual padding. Most films and TV shows portrayed quite well. In reality, it was a daily grind and discipline. Yes, tournaments were to hone the skills, but preparation was the key. And with the sound of arrows hitting the wooden targets,
Sir Richard's castle in Scotland has also fallen. The man responsible may have been mad. He was heard screaming the same word over and over.
Mounted combat using straw dummies, wooden swords during sparring, it was no doubt a loud and unforgiving environment.
Sword to his team first.
Okay, let's say you put in the work, did the training, the meetings, the 360 management chivalry review. Was the next step? Well, to be a knight, one had to be knighted.
And by all the witnesses here, I dub thee Sir William.
And on our screen, knighting is the award after a heroic act, an emotional moment, epic and dramatic. The music swells, maybe someone cries, it's the grand finale.
In the name of God, St. Michael and St. George, I give you the right to bear arms and the power to meet justice.
That duty I will solemnly obey, as knight and king.
But according to world history, the reality was quite different. If you wanted to be a knight, you had to undergo years of training and obligations, and you had to be committed to service, feudal hierarchy, and chivalry. The ceremony was also much more formal and a religious event, with blessing, vows, spars, and swords to indicate the duty to the ruler and the church.
Arise, Sir Lancelot.
It was about becoming a part of a bigger system, about commitment and devotion. Also, the rulers and other knights had put their reputation on the line for the new one, so they wouldn't give the title to anyone.
We welcome you to all the favors and sufferings of our brotherhood. Rise.
What movies get right is the tapping of the sword and similar phrases like "Be thou a knight" or "I make thee a knight in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost." But we are sometimes missing chanting monks and prayers. It also seems the ceremony didn't happen in the aftermath of a big battle or like mid-war, like in the movies.
The 36-year-old was knighted by the Prince of Wales at Windsor Castle.
Or at least not that often. There were instances of so-called field knighthoods to boost morale, but they probably still do the proper ritual later on.
W imię Boga, świętego Józefa i świętego Michała daję Ci prawo noszenia miecza i wydawania sprawiedliwych wyroków.
Congrats, you're a knight now, drinks on you. But being an employee of the month, it's not just about battles and tournaments. You are the one to enact the law.
Ich brauch dich. Nimm ein paar Männer mit. Hey, ihr beide. Komm!
Justice was pretty messy in medieval Europe, very messy. Law and order were handled locally, in a patchwork of kingdoms, city-states, empires, and church-controlled regions. Chief Pledge acted as a local representative to keep the community peaceful. Constables were introduced by the 1250s to report trouble.
In time, it became the duty of every free citizen to take his turn as a local parish constable, serving for a year.
But then there were sheriffs.
What is the meaning of this?
As newly appointed district sheriff, I've come to arrest Jack Jackson for the murder of Alfred Thompson.
King's agents who originally taxed people, jailed criminals, suppressed rebellions, and yes, called on the knights if needed. Yes, you. Because knights weren't just noble warriors. They sometimes acted as the military arm of the law to help during uprisings, to lead raids, and crush opposition. The movies get this bit right, especially when it comes to Robin Hood, who fought against the Sheriff of Nottingham and his knights who terrorized villages. Which, barring the Robin Hood legend, was true. In 1381, during the Peasants' Revolt in England, the order was restored by force and the rebels were punished without mercy, all aided by knights.
1381, in Brentwood, Essex, violence breaks out against the tax, and rebels start marching towards London, gathering more supporters on the way.
You want to rescue a damsel in distress? Working for the taxman is the best I can do. You proved loyal to the taxman. You quashed some rebellions and raided a few villages. Life is good. However, a call to arms comes from the king.
Assemble the army.
Now, in movies, we usually see the knights quickly getting ready and riding to battle with swords drawn, Hans Zimmer epic music, and sound of galloping horses.
Wait on my word!
In reality, as medieval chronicles writes, medieval knights went through a deep ritual process before charging into war. They sought divine protection and mental clarity with prayer and meditation.
Oh, merciful God, I have such need of your mercy now. Not for myself, but for my knights, for this is truly their hour of need.
They knew that they could die, so they reflected on their role in the fight, their honor, duty, and meaning of death. It was about grounding oneself before that moment comes. Apart from that, there were, of course, more practical elements too, meetings with commanders to understand the enemy's strength and the layout of the battlefield, inspecting the armor and weapons and fitting them properly, creating unity between other knights. So not a rush job as shown in the movies.
You must not quarrel. England and France are the hope of the crusade.
Right.
You must stand together until we win Jerusalem.
The heavens smiled at you, and you made it home after the battle. What can you expect upon arrival as a triumphant knight? Now, sometimes city-sponsored public ceremonies involved crowds cheering, parades through city gates, music and flowers. It wasn't spontaneous. Like, these were planned civic events that combined public excitement, politics and religious symbolism, like Oscars, but with more people watching.
Oh, wow!
And apparently, historians say that Henry V's return after the Battle of Agincourt in 1415 was legendary, with 20,000 citizens lining the streets, singing, cheering and praising God. So I can imagine this as loud, busy affairs with knights on horses, foot soldiers marching, and civilians, or, you know, king's subjects, dancing and shouting. But it wasn't always so cheerful. When King David II of Scotland was captured and brought to London in 1347, the Chronicle says, David Bruce was taken to London, which he entered solemnly, riding upon a horse amidst a great concourse of spectators who received him with silent respect. No drums, no trumpets, no fanfare. But if you think being a knight meant being a paragon of virtue, courage and chivalry, well, think again.
What are you doing?
Well, I usually remove my spurs before retiring.
If I scream, every woman in this camp will come.
I didn't scream.
They could bend the rules, so to speak, like the famous murder of Archbishop Thomas Becket inside Canterbury Cathedral by 4 knights of King Henry II.
So anyway, I got in a right mood with Thomas Becket and made some flippant remark like, "Oh, who will rid me of this troublesome priest?" And guess what these geniuses did? Speak up.
Beat him to death.
He didn't precisely order it, even though they thought so. A classic example of office miscommunication. A quick email could have sorted it. But sometimes not-so-noble knights cheated in duels, throwing sand in the enemy's eyes, grabbing swords, using backup weapons, concealing traps or hiding metal plates for extra protection.
I have a cramp.
You all right?
I am now.
There were instances where jousting was used for murder, where a sharpened war spear was concealed in place of the blunted lance, like in 1252 with Ernand de Montigai being killed in a tournament. And to add a story from Poland, in 1475, during Lanschut's wedding, a Polish guest wanted to joust Duke Christoph, but during inspection, it turned out that the Polish knight had raised his saddle height with extra leather padding. Anything to get the high ground. As always, I'm not a historian, but I grew up in my parents' VHS rental store, worked at the movie studio, and as a sound producer, I'm interested in how accurate these portrayals are on our screens. So for all of you who know the details and spot the errors of my ways, put them down in the comments, share knowledge and wisdom like proper knights, politely and bravely. So there you go. Thank you for staying till the end. That alone shows bravery only knights are capable of. I say, it's now time to rest and recharge. Maybe some cold therapy, sauna and deep tissue massage. And then off to to the next adventure. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.